Hello and welcome, luminous beings of light. Thank you for joining me here at SoulFire Alchemist. I'm your host, Dr. Beth. Guys, now most of you who follow astrology know that we just had this conjunction with Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus. And as I record this video today, it is a new moon in Taurus. So yes, by the time I've posted this, you will have already had, probably, depending on where you live on the globe, your new moon. It's an opportunity for you to plant the seeds of how you want to grow and change. And the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, however, might be over in its exact location from each other on April 20th. That was exact. You still have an opportunity to take this energy forward because these are bigger planets. These are not like the small interpersonal planets, as we call them, where we have Mercury and Venus who move very quickly, or even some of the other planetary energies like Mars. These personal planets move faster. Yes, they can be powerful change, but generally speaking, as we grow older and we go through all these many changes, there are layers upon layers of what are actually happening with the outer planets, which is something today that I want to look at and that we will expand on and really drill down. And I welcome you to bring your own personal natal chart with you to this session on May 23rd. This is going to happen at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully you can make it. The theme of it is called The Alchemy of Stars and Soul. And specifically, we're looking at evolution, creativity, and freedom, what we refer to in the Elven Mystery School as our Holy Trinity. Now, these are closely tied. Of course, we have evolution, which is Pluto, creativity, which is Neptune, and freedom, which is Uranus. Now, these are great, big, heavy hitters, astrologically speaking. And you're going to be learning about these energies that I'm getting to talk about in more detail as it relates to your personal chart and what's coming up in shamanism and how you can use elements and tools of shamanism to process through some of the changes and the trauma and even the pain and anxiety that might be coming up around these changes for you. And today, as I'm recording this, we have a new moon in Taurus at 18 degrees and 2 minutes. This new moon is really a point of reseeding. Why do I say that? Because we just had this great big energy happen with the Uranus conjunct Jupiter in Taurus. Now, if you're not sure what that was about, I did a video on it. And look a couple of videos down on this YouTube channel and you'll find it. Go back and watch that. I brought in a lot of the Sabian alchemy and the Sabian symbology into that because I want people to start understanding greater, deeper mysteries. I understand for a lot of people, astrology is new, and that's good. I mean, you're on the right path for sure. But sometimes we really, life requires, or spirit requires great mystery. Our soul requires of us, calls us to look forward, look down, look inward, right? And drill down into these deep wisdom studies, which is what we offer here at the Academy. So we're in a reseeding point. New moons are just for that. There are times when you can reseed, new energy, new moon. Anybody out there who's ever grown anything, if you're a gardener, or if you are, trying to, let's say you have a house plant and you want to regenerate it, right? So you snip off a piece and you stick it in a little bit of a growth hormone and put it in some water. Oh, this is a perfect day for that. A new moon in Taurus, because Taurus is an earth energy. And it's a great place for things to grow because of that very thing. A new moon is a great energy for that because a new moon is a time for planting seeds, quite literally, on this earth plane because of the effects that the moon has on it throughout its entire cycle, from new to full and then backwards again, forwards again, however you want to look at it. So we're here to study and understand the rhythm and cycles of the universe and the planetary bodies that make up what our environment is and our surroundings. With that said, look at how this energy has affected you. So go back and think about the last several months and what's been going on for you, maybe even all the way to January of this past year. So when 2024 started, what New Year's resolutions, if you made any, did you make? What new things came up for you that you were having to deal with? What new ways did you feel really pushed to move forward in your life? What did you feel like was coming up for you that needed to change? What came up for you that had to change? That was changed without you couldn't control it. It just happened, right? And so these are the things that you've not only been working with, but that you're just period working with. And the conjunction that we had in Taurus on April 20th is being followed up now on May 7th by this new moon in Taurus. So it's very close because it's at 18 degrees and the conjunction itself happened at 22 degrees in some minutes. So you're only looking at a matter of just a few degrees on the orb. So even in Hellenistic astrology, where they use a smaller, what we call an orb of influence, that is really close enough to be going, okay, the moon is coming over top of this to go, all right, and the sun as well, right? Because the sun right now is in Taurus, getting ready to move into Gemini. I'll talk about that in a second. So as we're going through this in the coming weeks and leading up to the SoulFire Talks service that we're going to do on the 23rd, we're really in a big way dealing with these energies of shock, upheaval, surprise, sudden change and sudden insights, sudden changes maybe in where you live or your resources or the things that you value and the things that you believe in, the things that you find really good and sensual. These are all the things that represent Taurus rather, and Venus rules Taurus. So all things Venusian, and energies. So like I said, things that you love and find beautiful and the things that you really place a lot of value and belief behind. These are the things that might have been coming up for question or might have just you've seen a complete and total reversal on how you have set with that in your mind, how it has set with you in your body. This could even be physical changes that have been taking place for you. This could be changes in your career. It really just matters. You really need to look at where it's at in your natural chart. But honestly, you already know the answers to these questions for the most part. Like, this came up for me, and you know what you're moving through right now. You know that the losses that you've endured and the things that you've gained. For me, I was going through a Jupiter return, and I still am. And that under that energy of that Jupiter return as it relates though to the Uranus energy, because it was exactly conjunct, and conjunct is when we have two planets that come and meet at the same exact degree point in the same exact zodiac in the exact house where it lies for you, right? And it brings up whatever it is in life that rules. That's one of the reasons I love the work that I'm doing with James Burgess and the Elven Mystery School, because we have such a deeper look. Oh, it's so beyond belief in the depth of it with the Sabian symbols, if you've never heard of those, and round up. That's a secret for you. You don't want to use. So like, let's say, for example, you have Taurus 18 degrees and 2 minutes. You're going to look at Sabian symbol Taurus 19, not 18. So a lot of people get that off. Between using it for myself and with clients, I can say it's just been astounding at the accuracy. So if you really, really, really want to get deep meanings and looks behind this, then come to SoulFire Talks on May 23rd, because I will be going into the Sabians for these energies that I'm talking about today. We're going to talk about Pluto. We're going to talk about the Jupiter sextile Neptune that happens that day. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about, of course, the full moon in Sagittarius and the solar ingress energies as it happens, because we have a lot of planets, including the sun, shifting into Gemini away from Taurus. Think about what's been coming up for you in April. Big changes, things that you thought were going to happen and they didn't. You had a sudden change of mind. You had a sudden expansion, just something really, you had someone or something come along in your life that created and helped you create, or whatever the case may be, a big change and a big expansion in your life, a big letting go of something that was really holding you back and keeping you back. And then you let it go and you grew into this new energy. But now we sit in a space of void and silence, because these planets have just, and now they're gliding along until they make their next aspect with whatever planet they're going to be aspecting. And what's taken place since then has laid effects in that. I'll give you an example. So the last few days, we've really, really had a whole bunch of, well, yesterday specifically, May 6th, we had a bunch of Chiron energy. So because we had Mercury in Aries conjuncting Chiron, and we also had another planetary body. I believe it was the moon. I'll see. We had the moon and Mercury both making a conjunction to Chiron yesterday. So the moon rules our deep inner needs, how we feel, how we mother, how we've been mothered, our emotional body, right? So the way that you feel, and Chiron is closely tied to the moon energy in some ways because they call it the mother wound. And there's different viewpoints on this, but Chiron is your wounds. So in many cases, and especially in mine and my shamanic astrology, I refer to it as our original wound, because it's the one that we got, the biggest wound that we got when we were either in our mother's womb or the first 0 to 7 years of our lives, because it's what makes a major imprint and impact on our life that we end up carrying with us in our muscle memory, our nervous system. Our mind is affected by it, right? The way that we respond to life emotionally, Chiron, and those wounds and traumas affect all those things. And that's why it becomes important for us to become the author and to re-author our stories and our memories even, right? This gets into really powerful stuff when you start learning shamanism, because to understand the energy and medicine and practices behind it, and to learn how to work with the elements like I put up in my last video, just talking about the basics, working with earth energy, right? Earth-based spirituality and the elements of earth, air, ether, fire, even wood and metal, right? Water. All of these elements are sample ways that they're the building blocks of everything that exists as far as where we live in the cosmos. So for us, it makes sense to use the base materials that we have access to be able to make real shift and change in our lives. So consider what you've been going through over the last month and how you may have been feeling yesterday and today. What's coming up for you? Is a new moon generally a really hard time for you? I know us ladies, we're on a cycle with that. The hormone fluctuations make a difference, but they also are part of our rhythm and our cycle, and they are here to teach you something major. They're not to be treated as though they're not welcomed. Okay. So really, approach these things with some kindness and gentleness. Jupiter is a benefic, but Uranus is a harsh energy. That doesn't mean it can't surprise and delight you, but it also can bring surprises and things that really create sudden change. For those of us who have a lot of fixed energy, you might not like surprises and change too much, right? So if you're one of those people, you got to consider that. Well, okay, you already know, because if you're watching this video, you already got it in your mind what you're working with. So take this time as you're watching this video, when at the end of the video, take this time, go back to the elementals video. So if you didn't watch that, the one I posted last week, pick one of those. I personally would recommend an earth energy right now, because after all, we are dealing with Taurus energy. It's the earth energy, right? I mean, we've got, Capricorn is our earth energy, Virgo is our earth energy, but Taurus is, it's the bull. There's a lot to be said about that bull energy and the rawness of how it really gets into the earth. When I think of Taurus, I almost think of a pig wallowing around in mud, and it loves every second of it. You're right. And it can be rough, and it can really just go in and get the job done, and it's relentless. Okay. So, and Taurus really represents your resources. So this can be your money, certainly, but it also is about your inner resources, the people that you have around you. And you got to ask the question, because that's what we do. We ask questions. Are things in my current life really serving me? Are they helping me get to higher ground and higher levels? Or are they things that I've got to be okay with releasing and letting them go? I've got to be okay to surrender. There's wisdom in surrender and release. Because when we let go of that icy grasp that we have on something, we're holding on because we're so scared of the unknown. But when we can release it, it really gives us an opportunity to allow the energy, the thing, the event, the person, the circumstance to enter that space. And I will tell you, as a shaman, I will tell you that a void always begs to be filled. So this is a new moon to be mindful, as are all of them, and calling in what it is that you want for your life. Write it down. Sit with it first. Make sure that it's something that lines up, that it can't be just a desire that you want in your head. How does it feel in your body when you think of having it? How does it feel in your soul when you think of having it? How does it feel in your heart space when you think of that? What does it look like, taste like, sound like? What does it feel like texturally, right? Oh, Taurus represents all of those things. And so if you can grab hold of that and within yourself, you're going to get a better answer for how to reseed this energy of the expansion of something. It could have felt like a rug being jerked out of you. It could have felt like the biggest Christmas party you ever had in your life, where you just got so many gifts, but then something inevitably just got taken away, right? Or something about it suddenly changed. It could have been that you won the lottery. I don't know. Right? Could have been that you found the love of your life. I don't know. It could have been that you got a great big job opportunity or a learning opportunity. Something came up for you to travel, right? Move. As equally as things come into our life with greatness, they go out, and sometimes in the same way. Sometimes it could be quiet. Sometimes you don't notice it. It's so subtle, because with these outer planets, it can take a lot of time. Things reverberate out, you know? So think about what you want to really bring into your life and write it down. Make sure it's in alignment with you, body, mind, soul, heart, right? If you feel any doubt or discharge, like a charge in your body that doesn't feel comfortable, then you need to sit with that longer, because there's something about it that isn't congruent within you. There's something about it, and this is a spiritual service after all. So there's something about it that isn't congruent with great mystery. Your higher self, your soul, all of it needs to be in alignment with the heart and then the mind. Once those things are in alignment, the body feels it. And that's Taurus, right? Taurus is the body really feeling an energy and saying yes or no to it. So pay attention to your yeses and your nos, no matter how subtle they might be. We've also just had Jupiter and Uranus pass under what we call the beams of the sun, and that's what the moon is doing. It's the degree point. So there's a death and a rebirth that happens and that takes place with planets that go through that. So something about the experience that you had went away or is going away. And it's leaving a void, even if it's very subtle to you, and maybe you can't even put your finger on it, but maybe you know exactly what it is because it's so big. Either way, there's an energy and a space of feeling like you're just floating right now, maybe. But Taurus is your opportunity to root and to ground. Root and ground. Okay. So using the earth energy at this time Like I said, go back to the video, but transforming your pain into power, something like that, using the elements. Okay, that's what this is about. Pluto just having gone retrograde is about your power. It's about your power to evolve or stay in the same place and be miserable. And when we make a decision to do that, I mean, how many of you out there, I know I've been through it, have made a decision in your life where you either didn't make a decision when you were given an opportunity, or you made a decision to stay in a situation or a place or even in a relationship and just did not end up bearing good fruit for you, and you stayed miserable. Maybe you've still been miserable from something that fits that description lately. So if that's the case, make a new choice this time. Pluto's giving you an opportunity. He's retrograding back over top of all these choice points that you've had over the last, well, we're going to say 4 months specifically, but really for the last year, almost year and a half. Okay, so what happened to you? I give you that example so that when you're looking at your own chart, you can kind of figure this stuff out. Now, if you're interested more in astrology, I just started a local class, which I've decided to take online. So right now, we and my team are in the process of recording these and getting them edited and putting them into an online course on SoulFire Alchemy Academy. So if that's something that you're interested in, then go to the Academy's address down below and sign up for that as soon as it becomes available. You'll see me post a video, but go sign up for our newsletter. That way you'll know and you get all the announcements about what we're doing, because there's a lot of those announcements coming out right now. There's a lot of growth, some shifts, some change. The things that I did put out in the way that I used to put them out are growing and changing and expanding. And that's what this is all about, because Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion. It also rules things like spirituality and travel and higher learning and education. So those are big energies to look at. Now, so do the manifestations, right? So that's the biggest message for this Taurus new moon. Write down, feel congruent, sit with it, understand what it is that you really want. Take your time. Spend some time with it. Devote some time. It's worthy. It's worthy. These are life-changing energies that might not come around again they'll never come around in the exact same way again in your life. So I'm not usually one to say that about transits, because I don't like being somebody that's like, well, you better hop on the train now or you'll never get an opportunity again. Certainly this is opportune time to make change, and you're going to have a little bit more ease and grace with it, because these are powerful portals. A divine healing, expansion, and wisdom, opportunities to develop all these things, right? And these energies can really springboard you into the future, and they can really help you get into your creativity and trigger it and claim it and activate your creativity. They can help you activate your evolution and your sense of freedom, your own heart's personal, your precious heart, right? Your heart is precious. Your heart deserves freedom, and you do as well. So now is the time to rebirth, EARTH, Taurus, rebirth, into a new way of being, right? Literally a new way of being. You are a luminous being of light. Choose to shine brighter. Choose to vary your spectrum, right? It's up to us to discover what those ways are. And that's what the Sabian alchemy process helps us with. That's what shamanic astrology helps us with. That's what understanding all these deep inner mysteries, being able to understand energy medicine so we can do it on ourselves. We can learn how to have a tool that we can use to get through these things and to create the shift and change that we want. We can reframe things and change our perspective completely. That's what's important. And if your mark is one of higher learning, if your mark is one of mastery, if your mark is one of personal growth and soul satisfaction, if your goal is one of really understanding yourself on a deep inner level, maybe you've got a dream and a goal to be a healer, you want to learn more about astrology, you want to learn more about energy medicine, you want to learn more about indigenous medicine, folk medicine, Perhaps you really have the goal to acquire tools. They're going to help yourself. Maybe you're attracted to more of the psychological things like neurolinguistics programming and hypnosis. But we learn at SoulFire Alchemy Academy, and what I teach is what I have learned to do is to take all these systems and put them together to form a really holistic tool and tool basket. So I hope you can enjoy this beautiful energy of the new moon in Taurus and make the most out of it. Take your time, really think about what it is that you're wanting to plant. I want to invite you again to our upcoming SoulFire Shaman Talks, which is about our evolution, creativity, and freedom. It's on the Sagittarius full moon this month on May 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is live. Link is below. We'll be covering all kinds of sacred astrology, shamanic astrology, Sabian symbols, and having a look too at the Jupiter sextile Neptune energies and how that's going to carry us forward for many, many years, and how that's going to be looking, especially as it relates to some of the conjunctions that I just talked about. Now, coming up next week, I have a part 2 to this video where I do go in more in depth in Pluto retrograde, the Jupiter sextile Neptune, and just some of the other energies that we've had abounding in the month of May. So it was a longer video. I wanted to split it up so that you didn't have to spend so much time in one. So we'll be putting that out next week, and I hope to see you. Go ahead and sign up and register. Bring your natal chart with you. Links below. Go sign up for our newsletter at soulfirealchemyacademy.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out, info@soulfireministries.net. And also be sure that you like and subscribe, comment. Let me know what's going on for you this new moon. How have these tossly energies been doing for you? What kind of surprises and shocks and changes have they brought to you? And what kind of expansion are you seeing? What do you just know that you got to do for yourself, or that you have done, and you're seeing it either bear fruit or you're just waiting in that silent void? Let me know down below. So I can't wait to see you for the next video, and I will see you on the flip side.